The state distributes spirit beasts based on grades. The class monitor ranked first unhesitatingly chose the SSS grade Heavenly Silver Serpent, while I, who ranked dead last, was only assigned an F-grade black bear. But soon after, the extreme cold apocalypse descended. Having formed a contract with the black bear, I shared his innate skill: cold resistance. Meanwhile, the white snake the monitor chose didn't have time to develop, and froze to death on the very first day of the apocalypse. Consumed by jealousy, the class monitor turned hostile. The other classmates all had black bears. They even cooked black bear hot pot right in front of me. Heavily wounded, I collapsed in the apocalyptic snow. Dying with hatred and resentment, I opened my eyes to find I had returned to the day of selecting spirit beasts. Just as I was about to go hug the black bear like in my past life, Li Yanping suddenly shouted, "Wait a minute!" He stood up from his seat, cradling a pure small white snake with crystal-clear scales. He rushed over to me in a hurry, and without a word, shoved that white snake into my arms. Acting as if he was afraid of me, he turned around forcefully and picked up the little black bear in the box. "The white snake is yours. I want the black bear." The classmates were all stunned. Even the homeroom teacher frowned in dissatisfaction. "You should know, this white snake has the purest lineage among this batch of cubs, with an ancient bloodline concentration as high as 80%. It's said to be a descendant of the ancient heavenly demon. While that black bear's bloodline concentration is only 20%, the difference between the two is like heaven and earth. No one could understand why Li Yanping wanted to trade the white snake for a black bear. Zhao Yan, choosing a partner spirit beast is no joke. This concerns the upper limit of your future growth. Quickly swap back with Huan. Student Huan needs this white snake more than I do. My grades are good. No matter what spirit beast I contract with, I can cultivate very quickly. But student Huan's cultivation talent is average. If he's paired with the black bear of such mixed blood, his life will be ruined. I am willing to exchange spirit beasts with student Huan. The class immediately erupted into applause. Everyone was stunned by his selflessness. Xiaoyan, the most important thing in cultivation is the Tao heart. You possess a pure and flawless heart of kindness. Even if the spirit beast is a bit worse, your future will definitely be limitless. Xiaoyan, why are you just standing there? Hurry up and thank Xiaoyan. I don't need your hypocrisy. I want that black bear. Li Yanping's eyes flickered with panic, and he held the black bear even tighter. The way he looked at me with a frown made it seem like I was the one bullying him. Huan, you don't need to test me anymore. I am exchanging with you of my own free will. Cut the act, I really don't. Before I could even finish, I suddenly felt a sharp pain in my wrist, like something had bitten me. Looking down, the little white snake's fangs were embedded in my skin. Beads of blood began to ooze from the wound. It flicked its forked tongue, licking my wrist until it felt numb. In just that short moment, it had proactively formed a contract with me, and it was a life-and-death bloodline contract at that. The classroom erupted in boos. They originally thought Huan was being tough by refusing the white snake Li Yanping offered him, but now it looked like he was just putting on a show, claiming to give the white snake back to Li Yanping, while quickly forming a contract with it on the side, terrified that Li Yanping might change his mind. A loser is always a loser. Such a hypocritical move. After contracting with me, the white snake closed its eyes and fell into a deep sleep. I listened to the gossip with a grim expression. They had no idea that I truly didn't want this useless white snake. Forced into a contract, I could only endure the eye rolls and return to my seat. Only I knew that this seemingly sought-after white snake would become a useless burden in just half a month. As my gaze drifted toward Li Yanping, it suddenly clicked. He actually rejected the white snake and insisted on snatching the black bear from me. It seems he has been reborn too. In the previous life, Li Yanping chose the white snake, while I could only take the unwanted black bear. Who would have thought that half a month later, the extreme cold apocalypse would descend? Global temperatures plummeted to -50°C. Earth turned into a frozen hell. The noble-blooded white snake, because its growth cycle was way too long, was frozen to death the very day the cold apocalypse arrived. But the black bear, under my meticulous care, reached adulthood early on. Once the talent sharing was activated, I became the only person in the apocalypse who didn't fear the cold. Later on, I followed the school's ability team to find supplies. Li Yanping tried to seduce the black bear several times, wanting it to break the contract and become his companion, but the black bear strictly refused. Rejected multiple times, Li Yanping turned his shame into rage. He told the others that eating black bear meat could also ward off the cold. So, during a supply run, Li Yanping conspired with several ability users to kill both me and the black bear. In an apocalypse where people ate each other to survive, we became the food that filled their bellies. My gaze turned icy as I looked at the black bear in Li Yanping's arms. In my previous life, I shared a deep bond with the black bear. We were life and death comrades who could trust each other with our backs. I didn't expect Li Yanping to snatch him away this time. The cold resistance talent. If it's gone, it's gone. But the debts of the previous life must be paid in blood. As I was staring blankly at the black bear, he suddenly rolled his eyes to look at me. When our eyes met, this little black bear, barely the size of a toy, actually blinked at me twice. Not once and not 3 times, but exactly twice. My heart skipped a beat. This was the secret signal between me and the black bear in our past life. It meant for me to rest easy. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but cast a good luck with that look toward Li Yanping. I know this black bear guy way too well. He only looks honest and simple-minded on the outside, but deep down he's a total schemer. While I was busy having an intense eye contact session with the black bear, my fingertip was suddenly taken into a cold little mouth. Looking down, I saw that it was, other than being good-looking, that useless white snake who's good for nothing else had woken up. This seed is not a useless waste. Also, human, you are not allowed to look at that ugly black thing anymore. I poked its tiny head with my other hand. Was that you talking? The little white snake raised its head arrogantly and curled up lazily in my palm. This seed is named Ling Shui. Human, if you want to call this seat queen, that's fine too. Kid, who taught you to be such a chunibyu? For most contract beasts, the contract is initiated by the human. The beast race is naturally proud. They are only relatively gentle during their infancy, but only in extremely rare cases. When they see a human they feel close to, will they proactively initiate a contract? After explaining the precautions, the classmates began trying to draw contract arrays to form bonds with their assigned spirit beasts. Of course, I wasn't among them. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, who would believe that I was actually force-contracted by a noble descendant of the ancient heavenly demon python? Ling Shui, why did you proactively contract with me? It's because of that woman. She's so stinky. Li Yanping is the school belle. Countless guys in school chase after her saying she smells like a dream. That's because they're blind. It's her soul that stinks. What about me then? The white snake in my arms burrowed into my sleeve, its tone sounding a bit unnatural. You're just okay, I guess. Since I had nothing to do, I traced his scales with my fingertips. The texture was surprisingly good, cold and smooth, better than the finest silk. I rubbed his head, touched his body, and finally couldn't resist pinching that short tail. They say you should never touch a snake's vitals, but since he's just a tiny thing, it should be fine, right? The moment my hand pinched the tip of his tail, Ling Shu stiffened as if hit by an electric shock. The skin between his snowy scales turned a faint shade of pink. Stop it, you rascal, You're actually harassing this seat. He looked exactly like a little girl who had been taken advantage of. I blinked and pulled my hand back nonchalantly. Kid, don't let your mind wander to such messy thoughts. Ling Shui was so angry his eyes misted over. He turned his head away with a huff and started ignoring me. At this time, Li Yanping was the first to finish drawing the contract array. A flash of joy crossed her pretty little face. As she initiated the contract with the black bear, the contract array immediately enveloped the black bear and began to spin rapidly. But the black bear inside the array was actually mobilizing its spiritual power, secretly altering 2 strokes of the array's patterns, quietly changing this contract array from a standard equality contract into a master-servant contract, except the black bear was the master, and Li Yanping was the servant. Once the contract finished, the black bear gave me a smug look. I quietly hid my hand under the table and gave him a big thumbs up. This is why they say, never offend the honest guy. Human, you are a bad person. That sulky voice exploded in my ear again. I didn't need to look to know it was my chunibyu, tsundere, arrogant and thin-skinned little ancestor. How am I bad? I carelessly and gently tapped his cold scales. You touched this seat's tail, and now you're flirting with another woman, and she's an ugly black thing. I let out an imperceptible sigh. Fine. Let's add jealous little prince to the list. As the students finished their contracts, the teacher handed out cultivation resources to everyone. I kept only 1 spirit stone and fed the rest to Ling Shui as snacks. He swallowed 19 spirit stones one by one, eating incredibly fast. They were gone before I even left the classroom. My classmates all looked at me like I was crazy. Is Hu-En insane? Feeding a week's worth of resources to a white snake? Didn't he pay attention? Spirit beasts grow slowly. You can't feed them like that. The spirit stones are for our own cultivation. What a waste to give that top-tier white snake to a guy like him. Certain students should take note. The monthly quota for spirit stones is limited. Even if you waste them, the school won't give you more. He was late. In my previous life, I was also very generous to the black bear. Most students split resources 4-to-1 with their beasts, but I always went 50-50. I believed since we were comrades, we should each take half, but even with 50-50, I wasn't exactly generous to the white snake either. 1 to 19, I take 1 and he takes 19. Not only did my classmates think I was crazy, even I thought it was a bit ridiculous. But then I suddenly remembered Ling Shui and I are bound by a bloodline contract. That means we live and die together. If it's like the last life and he freezes to death on the first day of the apocalypse, then I won't survive either. So right now, this little ancestor's life is more important than anything. For the remaining time, the students found their own places to cultivate. I also walked out cradling the white snake. And just as I passed Li Yanping, he suddenly blocked me with half his body and said in a low voice, "I have the black bear, so of course I can survive just fine. As for you two losers, just wait to die on the first day of the frozen apocalypse." The white snake in my arms lifted its eyelids, took a lazy glance, and flicked its tongue at Li Yanping. A sickening, foul stench instantly filled the air, and the composure on Li Yanping's face completely shattered. He screamed and took several steps back. I sneered, turned around with the white snake, and left. Cultivation is a bottomless pit. Finding a massive amount of spirit stones became a problem. I tapped Ling Shui's scales while thinking, and suddenly remembered that before the apocalypse broke out in my last life, the media exposed a small spirit vein. According to the timeline, it shouldn't be discovered yet. I drove the car with the white snake toward the vein. When I reached the approximate location, I found that Li Yanping had actually beaten me to it. Li Yanping is a young miss from a prestigious family. Her connections and resources aren't something a commoner like me can compare to. I stood on the outskirts of the spirit vein, watching coldly as Li Yanping led over 20 strong men to mine the vein. The white snake snuggled in my arms, watching piece after piece of dazzlingly bright spirit stones being unearthed. Ling Shui swallowed hard, staring longingly. I covered the snake's eyes. "Don't look. The quality of stones here is poor. I'll take you somewhere else." I walked away with the snake, looking back every 3 steps. Just as I was about to walk out of range, a joyful voice suddenly echoed in my mind. "Brother! Is that you, Bear? You can use telepathy?" That Li Yanping really spent a fortune on me. She used a soul-awakening grass so I can communicate mentally. "Brother, take the white snake to rest for a bit. I'll call you when the stones are all dug out." I stopped and finished the mental conversation with the black bear. When I snapped back, I saw a small, exquisite snake face, looking at me with total suspicion. Ling Shu's body coiled around my arm, and his arrogant snake face leaned in close, his cold breath brushing against my skin. Ling Shu glared at me unhappily. "Human! How dare you communicate with another woman behind this seat's back?" I pinched the snake's neck with one hand, lifted him off my arm, and used the other hand to pinch his snake face as punishment. "Kid, watch your choice of words. This seat is not wrong. You have a bear scent on your soul. It's that black-skinned one, right? This little snake is quite sharp. Whoever our heavenly demon python race forms a bloodline contract with is our lifelong partner. You cannot have contact with that bear." I had a weird look on my face. "Kid, how old are you? Do you even know what a partner is?" Ling Shui looked at me aggrievedly, his tail flicking back and forth, when suddenly a cold snake tongue dabbed against my cheek. Before I could react, the culprit quickly pulled his head back and whispered, "This seat licked you, so you are this seat's person now. Since I've marked this spot, no one else can touch you." "Why are you marking spots? Are you a dog instead of a snake?" I stood there stunned, my eye twitching. I left the spirit vein side to the black bear, cradled Ling Shu back to the car, blasted the AC while eating watermelon, and found a movie to play on the center console. Before long, I felt myself getting drowsy. By the time I woke up, the sky was already dark. The wilderness forest had no lights. It was surrounded by silent darkness. Just then, "Brother, come quick! They're all gone!" I responded and looked down to see Ling Shui looking at me with alert resentment. I instinctively felt guilty. Ling Shu turned his head away. "Don't explain. This seat isn't listening. This seat won't talk to you for the rest of the day." Under the cover of night, I cradled the white snake and walked toward the spirit vein. Just as the black bear said, no one was left near the vein, only a formation used to hide it. The white snake saw me arrive at the location. Although curious about why I came, since he just said he wouldn't talk to me, he just pouted and held it in. I didn't linger around the formation. Before long, the black bear deactivated the formation and poked his head out toward me. He can already speak now. He waved a paw at me. "Brother, come quick!" The white snake in my arms saw the black bear and flicked his tongue, putting on a threatening and fierce expression toward the bear. I covered the snake's mouth and gave the bear a helpless smile. "Ling Shui has a bit of a temper." The black bear led the way. "It's okay, brother. Don't blame big sister." But a screeching voice exploded in my head. "Darn it, he's a green tea! He's a black-skinned green tea! Let me go! I'm definitely biting him to death today! I'm still alive, and yet you dare to have a tryst with this black-skinned vixen right in front of me? What kind of thing is he, only knowing how to seduce men? Let me go! I want a duel to the death!" I glanced at the faint spiritual energy rippling around the black bear. I let go and allowed the white snake to jump to the ground. Once on the ground, Ling Shui turned back and looked at me in disbelief, as if he didn't expect me to actually let go. He charged at the bear at a turtle speed of 0.008 meters per second, looking back every 3 steps, finally turning back a 4th time. He gave me an uncertain look. "You're not even going to stop me. Aren't you afraid I'll bite your precious lover to death?" I glanced at the black bear's spiritual power. Having eaten spirit stones all afternoon, his power was over 50 times that of the snake. It was hard to say who would bite whom to death. I smiled at him. "It's fine. Let me see how badass you are. If you bite him to death, I'll belong only to you from now on." The white snake's tail slapped the ground in conflict. He was a bit swayed by my words, but then he glanced at the threatening spiritual energy on the black bear and sheepishly slithered back to my feet. This guy really is a bully the weak, fear the strong type. The black bear split the spirit stones from the vein into 3 piles. He kept a tiny pile for himself, another small pile for me, and a mountain-sized, massive pile. Ling Shu looked at that huge pile of snacks, his eyes glowing green. "This black-skinned guy is actually quite generous to you." The black bear pointed at the small pile. "Brother, these should be enough for your cultivation." Then he pointed at the massive pile. "Give all of these to Big Sister." Ling Shu cried out, "This black-skinned guy doesn't seem to have feelings for you. He's trying to get on my good side." I flicked Ling Shu's head. "Are you a love brain? Do you have to link everything to romance?" Ling Shu was still indignant. "Do you want the snacks or not?" He instantly behaved. I looked at the black bear. "If I move everything out of here, will Li Yanping hurt you?" The black bear shook his head. "That woman obeys my every word now." The next day, Li Yanping stared dumbfoundedly at the emptied spirit vein. You used up all these spirit stones?" This tiny spirit vein wasn't even enough to fill the gaps in my teeth. "Didn't you say you wanted me to awaken the cold resistance skill within half a month?" "I just felt it. It seems I've hit the awakening barrier." The black bear nodded. Hearing this, Li Yanping's expression softened a bit. "As long as you can awaken it, it's just that your bloodline is too poor. You ate so much just to grow this little bit of power. If you look down on my low bloodline, you didn't have to choose me. I didn't beg you to pick me. Now I'm under a lot of pressure. When I'm stressed, I feel like my talent won't awaken properly." Li Yanping knew how precious the black bear's talent would be when the cold apocalypse arrived in half a month. "Don't feel pressured. I didn't mean it that way. If I looked down on your bloodline, I wouldn't have chosen you. Fine, I need spirit stones to cultivate. Hurry up and have someone send more. Not too many." "What? Is 10 trucks too many?" "If you get me 10 trucks, I might be able to awaken a higher tier talent. 10-mile frost ward. It helps everyone within a 10-kilometer radius resist the cold." 10 kilometers! A greedy glint flashed in Li Yanping's eyes. If the extreme cold came and she could make everyone in 10 kilometers ignore the cold, how would she be any different from an apocalyptic empress? Li Yanping gritted her teeth. "Fine, just wait. 10 trucks it is. I'll get them for you." Before the apocalypse, money was just scrap paper. Although Li Yanping's family was powerful, Everyone treated her claims about the coming cold apocalypse as a total joke. They thought it was even more ridiculous that she wanted 10 trucks of spirit stones to help a low bloodline beast awaken a useless cold resistance talent, unable to get support from her family. Li Yanping could only sell off everything her parents and family had given her since childhood. Houses, cars, all designer bags and jewelry. When I saw Li Yanping at school again, his clothes were all old styles he'd worn before. Even lunch was just a simple meal of steamed buns with lao gan ma. It was clear that Li Yanping had truly spent all his money on the black bear, but he has no idea that out of the 10 trucks of spirit stones he sold his life for, only a tiny fraction was kept by the black bear. The remaining 99.99% all went into the pockets of me and the white snake. I only used 1 or 2 stones to cultivate occasionally, just so I wouldn't forget how to use spiritual power, and gave the rest to the white snake. The white snake devoured the stones rapidly and fell into a deep sleep. As long as the stones were placed by his side, a powerful suction would drain them, turning them to powder instantly. Just the spiritual power the white snake fed back to me made me several times stronger than my past self. As for Li Yanping, the spiritual power he has now can't even compare to the other students in class. For the black bear, he didn't even use a single stone on himself. The black bear kept gaslighting him, saying, "If you give me 1 less stone, and I fail to awaken my talent, don't say I didn't warn you." Everyone said Li Yanping was washed from the very first day of school. When Li Yanping inexplicably chose the weakest and lowest talent black bear, it was like he'd lost his mind. Facing these rumors, Li Yanping just scoffed, "What do you guys know? In a few days you'll see that I was right." Ha ha ha. In the middle of a scorching summer, the temperature suddenly plummeted one night. Snowflakes began to fall all over the world. At first, people joked that snow in June meant a great injustice. But by noon the next day, global temperatures had dropped to minus 20 degrees Celsius. People gradually began to worry that such abnormal weather might be the sign of an impending disaster. The snow fell harder and harder, with no sign of stopping at all. Fearing accidents in the snow, the school recalled all students. In the girls' dorm, Li Yanping was shivering, wrapped in a quilt. Having not cultivated for a while, the spiritual power in his body was extremely weak, only slightly stronger than a normal person's. His nose was frozen beet red, and he kept wiping it with tissues. His nose was frozen beet red, and he kept wiping it with tissues. Black Bear, is your talent awakened yet? 10 days passed, and the black bear's size had grown several times, basically entering a young state. Li Yanping gradually grew suspicious. "Don't rush me. It's coming soon." In the last life, Huan was just a poor kid. Even if he explored ruins everywhere, the spirit stones he could supply to the black bear couldn't have been much, and definitely nowhere near the resources I've provided this time. Why did the black bear awaken its talent in the last life, but seems unable to do it in this one? Black Bear, you aren't hiding something from me, are you? Who do you think I'm working so hard for? Now you actually doubt me. I was thinking that even though my talent hasn't fully awakened, I could still share a bit of heat with you, but now, take these spirit stones back. I don't need them. My fur is thick enough that even without your stones, the cold won't kill me. I was wrong. It's all my fault. I was just talking out of anger. You keep using the snacks. Nothing is more important than you awakening your talent. The black bear snorted. "I'll forgive you this time," and continued munching on the snacks on the floor. While eating, the bear shared a tiny bit of heat with Li Yanping. Truly, a tiny bit. He was just afraid Li Yanping might freeze to death before the actual apocalypse arrived tomorrow, which wouldn't be fun. Feeling a slight warmth, Li Yanping stopped doubting the black bear. After a spirit beast contract is formed, whether it's the human or the beast cultivating, they feed back 10% of their spiritual power to each other. The power the black bear fed back to Li Yanping had been consistently weak, making it seem like the black bear truly hadn't absorbed much spiritual power. But Li Yanping didn't know it wasn't that the black bear was absorbing too little. It was because he and the black bear had signed a master servant contract. How much power the black bear wanted to feed back to him was entirely up to the bear's whim. In another dorm, I leaned against the headboard watching a movie on a projector. All the spirit stones in the room had already been sucked dry into dust. However, the white snake coiled on the white cashmere rug still hadn't woken up. The current white snake had unknowingly left the cub stage and become an adult spirit beast. Its body was now as thick as a bucket, its snow-white scales glowing with a faint, cold light in the dark. I got out of bed and touched the snake's scales, feeling the immense life force contained within. The clock on the wall crept toward midnight. The true apocalypse was coming. This time, the white snake shouldn't freeze to death on the first day. The midnight bell rang, and global temperatures plummeted off a cliff once again. The thermometer in the room showed that the indoor temperature had hit minus 50 degrees Celsius. As a cultivator, plus the feedback from the white snake, the spiritual power in my body was enough for me to ignore this level of cold. The snow outside fell harder, already a whole story deep. The teacher started a roll call in the group chat, asking everyone to report their status. If any student couldn't hold on, the school would launch a rescue immediately. At the same time, because the school was short-staffed due to the extreme cold, they urgently recruited a batch of volunteers. I signed up to be a volunteer, to distribute supplies to the students in each dormitory. When I reached the girls' dorm, I skipped right past Li Yanping's door. One by one, classmates reported in the group chat that they had received their supplies. Li Yanping attacked me. What's going on? Where are my supplies? I directly posted several photos in the group. All of them were evidence of Li Yanping buying massive amounts of supplies at the supermarket and hoarding them back at school ahead of time. The school says supplies are extremely scarce right now. The heavy snow is still falling. It might not stop for a very long time. I think supplies should be left for those who need them most. Classmates chimed in one after another. Did the monitor know something in advance? How did he buy so much food and daily necessities? Is he even fit to be monitor? How can he hoard supplies? He actually has the nerve to compete with us for supplies. Li Yanping was instantly put on trial from a moral high ground. Li Yanping at me again. Quit faking it. Didn't you also know the cold apocalypse was coming? You hoarded a bunch of supplies too. Why don't you bring your share out to divide among us? I posted 2 photos of empty instant noodle boxes. I don't know what you're talking about. Everyone knows my family is poor. Regarding the apocalypse, I only bought so many noodles because I saw a discount at the mall. I just distributed them all to our classmates. The 10 packs of noodles everyone received were all provided by me. They were all distributed by student Hu En from his personal stash. The classmates started getting sarcastic with him again. Unable to win the argument, Li Yanping went silent in the group chat. But he sent me a DM immediately. Screw you. So what if you've earned a good reputation? That useless white snake you're raising must be frozen solid by now, right? Are you talking about this white snake that's sleeping like a pig? In the video, although the white snake's eyes were closed, the surging ripples of spiritual power proved beyond doubt that it was doing more than fine. Impossible. That video must be pre-recorded. That trash snake develops so slowly, and its body is so fragile, it's definitely frozen to death by now. I yawned and stopped replying to Li Yanping. Even with spiritual power protecting my body, the extreme cold still made me feel a bit chilled. I opened the closet, planning to layer on the spare quilt, when a wave of warm spiritual power suddenly washed over me. I was very familiar with this feeling. It was the warmth from the black bear's shared cold resistance. Bear, we don't have a contract anymore, yet you can still share your talent with me? Brother, I've successfully awakened the 10-mile frost ward. Only then did I realize that the black bear's talent wasn't just cold resistance, but 10-mile frost ward. In the last life, my abilities were limited, and I didn't have enough spirit stones in time to let the black bear fully awaken his talent. To protect me back then, the black bear had forced an awakening, resulting in a low-spec version of cold resistance. How is Li Yanping doing? The black bear shared his vision with me, because he was confident he'd be immune to the cold once the bear awakened its skill. Li Yanping hadn't bought any extra blankets. Right now, he was tightly wrapped in a thin summer quilt, his face turned deep purple, teeth chattering. Is the awakening successful yet? The black bear jumped onto the bed, and with a shove of his backside, he sent Li Yanping flying. The frozen floor and the stiff body collided. With a loud crack, God knows how many bones were broken. Li Yanping grimaced in pain. What are you doing? I have good news for you. My awakening was a success. Hearing this, Li Yanping's eyes lit up. He didn't care about being shoved off the bed. Quick, share your skill with me. I'm about to freeze to death. When did I ever say I'd share it with you? I'm your master. I went bankrupt buying all those snacks for you just so you could awaken. Why won't you share the contract? We have a contract. Even if you don't share it willingly, I can still use your power. Li Yanping hurriedly tried to activate the contract power. To force share the black bear's ability, but he suddenly realized he couldn't move the power within the contract at all. Open your eyes and take a good look. Exactly what kind of contract did we sign? Li Yanping carefully inspected the contract and found that 2 of the array's lines showed signs of being tampered with. See it clearly now? This is a master-servant contract. You think you're worthy of sharing my skills? Li Yanping lay on the floor, dumbfounded. You were reborn too? Not just me, Brother Huan was reborn as well. In the last life, you teamed up with others to kill us for our meat. In this life, it's time to collect the debt. So what if you were reborn? Huan contracted with that useless white snake. Once it dies, Huan will die too because of the bloodline contract. A flash of terror crossed Li Yanping's eyes. The black bear didn't bother talking to him further and turned to leave. On the day the cold apocalypse truly hit, the global temperatures were no longer being made public. Just like in the previous life, power systems, water supply, and networks have completely collapsed. Many people didn't wake up last night. 5 more days passed, and school order has totally fallen apart. Many students ran out of supplies and started going out to loot food from other dorms. Outside my door, a few students who awakened stronger powers have targeted me. I've done the math. With my current power protected by Black Bear's cold resistance, plus the massive amount of spiritual power fed back to me by the white snake. Most teachers in this school are no match for me. Even if they have the numbers, I'm not scared at all. Listening to the frantic pounding on the door, spiritual power has already gathered in my palm. Before I could even make a move, a massive surge of energy suddenly expanded outward from my room. Just by the sound alone, I could imagine the scene of people being flipped over outside. The white snake is still coiled on the rug with its eyes closed. A voice originating from a divine sense transmitted out through my room. Beat it! It was a cold yet majestic voice. The people outside scrambled on all breaths and fled in a panic. I stroked the white snake's head. Ling Shui, are you about to wake up? People also tried to break into Li Yanping's dorm, but they were all driven away by the black bear. Because of the black bear's presence, Li Yanping isn't dead yet, but he's not far from it. He lies on the floor. The wounds from his broken bones are emitting a foul stench. Every time he's about to pass out, he's slapped awake again by the black bear. The bear has a great memory and holds a serious grudge. Following his memories from the previous life, he found everyone who conspired with Li Yanping to kill us and swatted them to death with one paw. The remaining people in the school have no grudge against him, so the black bear simply stopped hiding. He activated his domain, and a warm current surged through everyone within the entire school's range, as if protected by a god. Even Li Yanping, lying on the floor waiting for death, finally experienced the feeling of cold resistance. A scorching, warm current shot through his body. For others, it might be a blessing, but for him, it's a death sentence that accelerates his loss of life. It's not just the bones. Many of his internal organs were ruptured during the previous impact. In extreme cold, the speed of freezing and rot is delayed, but now being suddenly thawed, and by microwave low heat thawing at that, Li Yanping's internal organs began to fail completely. He lay there dazed, slowly shifting his body, seemingly trying to find a more comfortable position, while dark purple blood slowly leaked from his 7 orifices. He didn't even close his eyes before he died. Good riddance. This morning I feel exceptionally warm. Opening my eyes, my entire body is tightly wrapped by a soft form. It's an incredibly beautiful face. Skin like cream, brows like distant mountains, phoenix eyes tightly shut, and long lashes like butterfly wings. Snow-white hair cascades down like a waterfall, wrapping around me. The body is warm, and the fair skin glows with a faint, cold light, like an elf forged from moonlight. As I struggle slightly, those narrow phoenix eyes quiver open, revealing light silver pupils that don't look human. The familiar scent makes me call out tentatively. The woman Ling Shui's lips curl up into a pleasant smile. She flips over and sits directly on top of me. The chilly air instantly touches my skin. At the same time, that cold yet warm aura from the woman also envelops me. She leans down, her waterfall-like white hair falling onto my face with a faint fragrance. I blink, staring at her nervously. That stunning face is inches away, her skin a white even more translucent than white jade, pure yet enchanting. Behind her, a snowy white snake tail sways restlessly. A cold and seductive voice falls upon me. "Human, did you miss this seat?" Well, with the words human and this seat, I'm certain this is Ling Shui. I look at her calmly. "You finally decided to wake up?" She lets out a light laugh as pleasant as silver bells. "Were you worried about this seat? If you die, I go down with you." She leans down and suddenly pecks my cheek. "Your mouth is still as stubborn as ever." I push her away. "Ling Shui, Is this really the first thing you do after transforming? Ling Shui's smile deepens. It's not the first thing, okay? This seat licked you before. We already sealed the deal. The reason it took so long to wake up was that she had been awakening her talent skill. Ling Shu's bloodline is noble, so awakening her talent is much harder than for other beasts. Fortunately, after all these days, she finally succeeded. So what exactly is your talent? Ling Shu's voice is nonchalant. Growth. Wait, what? I glance up and down at her chest, with a somewhat weird look in my eyes. Ling Shu rolls her eyes at me. What are you thinking about? As we speak, the snow outside the window has stopped at some point. The heavy clouds dissipate layer by layer, and the long-awaited sun appears in the sky, shining warm sunlight down upon the earth. I hear a chorus of joyful voices from within the school. Look, the sun is out! The temperature doesn't seem as cold as before. Great, the apocalypse is finally over. I hear Ling Shui's voice drop. The heavenly demon python is an ancient divine beast. The talent skill this seed awakened is vitality of all things. Ling Shu's beautiful face presses against my ear, her warm breath gently blowing on my neck. Her snowy white snake tail coils around my waist, tightening as if acting spoiled. This seat has saved the whole world. How are you going to reward this seat? I look out the window at the world regaining its life, then look at this indescribably beautiful woman beside me. I reach out and gently flick her forehead. Kid, what's on your mind? Ling Shu glares at me huffily. Her snowy white snake tail thrashes back and forth behind her, but her light silver pupils are filled with laughter. Suddenly, a familiar voice comes from outside the door. Brother! I've also transformed. I opened the door and saw a girl as small as a shrimp, with bare ears on her head standing at the entrance. However, the reason I could tell it was Black Bear at a glance, was that his skin was more of a healthy, wheat-toned tan. Even though he was quite large as a black bear, how did he end up looking like a tiny lolly after transforming? Ling Shu poked her head out from behind me. This seat's sister is actually this ugly? I think I look pretty good. Black Bear had a depressed look. Watching this bear and snake bicker, the corners of my mouth couldn't help but turn up. In the last life, we were killed by Li Yanping. In this life, we not only got our revenge but also welcomed a new beginning. The cold apocalypse is finally over, and my story has only just begun.